expect by right now that, the means of testing, what is called MTI, in determining whether you are from band 1 or to band 5, was yielding that we get the right candidates who require either scholarships or loans. But Fred, also, I normally look at a fair assessment of issues. We are coming on a background where, and I understand probably where the government, through the ministry, is foreseeing the future of education or centers of excellence. Look at an article I was reading yesterday talking about how the government and sustaining government has previously chartered a number of universities without really looking at how would this be would be sustained and well managed so that learners would get access to quality education. Even on the background where we are having, more university collapsing because it cannot be sustained. And, the time when universities were in a forest opening campuses and without not really doing financial feasibility. We also make sure that within the time, there's previously a discussion before this about when their self-sponsored students were able, vis-a-vis those who are being, sponsored by the government from the needy families. So basically, we are trying to have a discussion, a dialogue whether any, initiative from the task force would be able, to strike a balance between making sure that, we have identified the right learners who are qualified and require support from government in terms of scholarship and even loans. So I think reading from this is basically having a conversation where with the stakeholders in the ministry or education stakeholders ensure that the right kind of tool is, supporting MTI so that the 8 variables that are indicated, I think they're indicated, how then would you determine when a student really is in need and require the government support? And they're mentioning family income, school attended, family size, disability. I think the proposal would be, I am against proposal to collapse band 4 and band 5. For the discussion that I said, probably there are other people and self-sponsored students who are able to sustain. And therefore, touching and collapsing that would necessarily be a tragedy in terms of ensuring that funds are able to sustain universities and other institutions of learning. But equally for band 1, 2, and 3, to make sure that students who really require support, then I think I would agree with the Minister of Education by saying that instead of us collapsing, then would there be a conversation around extensive, in fact, there is an existence. There's a number of technological avenues that could be used by the ministry to make sure that there are systems of actually detecting and sensing and actually having students who really require the support. But again, human error, in terms of what you've just mentioned, that it all boils down again to our value system, the things we keep on mentioning here. Because then you're saying you might find that in one family, a number of people are supported probably through a falsified information as they are applying for scholarship. And therefore, that means that other needy students probably would be locked down because then there is fictitious systems in terms of application. I think for us now, as what Sosion has said, and Prof probably, could we then open a conversation? I prefer that then public participation, but equally a meaningful citizen engagement towards ensuring that MTI really works. What are other technologies? What are other measures that could be put in place to make sure that rightful, needy students really qualify, instead of saying that we are abandoning this band 4 and band 5 because now it is not sustainable. But then if we do that, there are other people who are willing to sponsor themselves and who really are in a position to do that. So the moment you collapse it, then you are killing a system that would sustain university education as well.
All right. So at least that conversation is there. Very